What would you say was racist about Cenk? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Cenk. Yes, absolutely. I just realized that he's not like pro-America. He's pro his policies, and he has this like superiority that doesn't benefit all Americans. So when you see like these regular, everyday Trump supporters, whatever, the majority of these people are people that make less than $50,000 a year. So these aren't like racists that are holding anyone back or holding the system down or whatever. These are everyday people that are getting up, working 60 hours a week, trying to put food on the table. Right now, what's going on in America in the last 4 years or 3 years or whatever, groceries have doubled. Rent has doubled. So even for the people that are living in the backwoods in the country, living modestly right now, they're struggling while their jobs are continuing to be exported overseas. So right now across America, we have all this shortage of housing because we don't want low-income housing, we don't want apartments, etc. People like your host, Cenk, are very against that, you know, when he lives in this elitist neighborhoods.
Breaking news, Cenk declared a NIMBY.
Yeah, well, not exactly. I was declared a racist, though. The reason Michael asked that question is because he said in the beginning, hey, that's Cenk or whatever, he's a racist. So Michael's like, how is Cenk a racist? So let's break it down. So number one, he said, I'm not pro-America. He's pro his policies. Am I supposed to be pro someone else's policies? Isn't that kind of how things work, that you're pro your policies?
Ana Kasparian and Cenk got absolutely demolished by random Make America Great Again supporters that were being interviewed. Let's get into this clip here from the Young Turks of Ana Kasparian and Cenk getting destroyed by these just random MAGA people. They get absolutely embarrassed by them. Let's check this out. If you enjoy content like this, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
For things they did in office.
He hasn't been convicted of anything.
Hi, Ana Kasparian. I think you're the cutest. I love you.
I'm sorry.
No, whatever.
There is a lot to unpack in that video, Cenk. Apparently, a member of Maga loves me, thinks I'm cute. That guy not so amused by it. Whatever.
Yeah, but the Trump fan that Michael was interviewing speaks for the country. Whatever.
Does he?
No, I'm kidding.
But you know, well, I got a little bit of love there, Cenk. A different MAGA supporter at the same rally had some choice words for you.
What would you say was racist about Cenk? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Cenk. Yes, absolutely. I just realized that he's not like pro-America. He's pro his policies, and he has this like superiority that doesn't benefit all Americans. So when you see like these regular, everyday Trump supporters, whatever, the majority of these people are people that make less than $50,000 a year. So these aren't like racists that are holding anyone back or holding the system down or whatever. These are everyday people that are getting up, working 60 hours a week, trying to put food on the table. Right now, what's going on in America in the last 4 years or 3 years or whatever, groceries have doubled. Rent has doubled. So even for the people that are living in the backwoods in the country, living modestly right now, they're struggling while their jobs are continuing to be exported overseas. So right now across America, we have all this shortage of housing because we don't want low-income housing, we don't want apartments, etc. People like your host, Cenk, are very against that, you know, when he lives in this elitist neighborhoods.
Breaking news, Cenk declared a NIMBY.
Yeah, well, not exactly. I was declared a racist, though. The reason Michael asked that question is because he said in the beginning, hey, that's Cenk or whatever, he's a racist. So Michael's like, how is Cenk a racist? So let's break it down. So number one, he said, I'm not pro-America. He's pro his policies. Am I supposed to be pro someone else's policies? Isn't that kind of how things work, that you're pro your policies? Doesn't that also mean you're pro-American because you believe?
Dude, you can, oh man, these people are so bad faith. Like you can tell that Cenk his feelings got hurt a bit there. Obviously what the guy means, and the guy is telling the truth. He might have not articulated himself in the best way, but he was telling the truth. Like everybody on both sides of the aisle are pro their policies, are pro their side more than they're pro-America. If you're actually pro-America, then it doesn't matter which side comes up with what policy, you'll just vote for the best thing for America. And literally nobody does that. A lot of people like to claim, like I'm sure a lot of people are going to be in the comments like, oh, I do that. Of course I do that. It's like, okay, you might on an individual basis, but you're also not a politician. You're also not in the House of Representatives, you know? Like I'm talking about those kinds of people who actually have power to do stuff, make change. None of them actually care about the well-being of America. They care about getting more power and their side winning, and that's it. And obviously that's what that MAGA guy was trying to say, is Cenk is that same way, because Cenk is a politician. Cenk does have power with his YouTube channel and his influence and all that. And it's true. Exactly what he was saying is completely true about Cenk and even Ana Kasparian. But Cenk's going to act like he can't understand it. He's going to play dumb because his feelings were hurt.
Believe in freedom and the right to believe whatever you want. So is he racist because he's pro his policies? A lot of mainstream media don't give you honest news. We do. You know why? God. Because of you.
I understand what he's trying to say. He didn't quite get there with the way that he said it, right? But I think what he's referring to, no, not at all. But I know what he was referring to because he immediately jumped to the reason why he supports MAGA, right? And I think what he was trying to say is, look, as a black voter, people feel that we as black people are obligated to vote for the Democrat. You know, and I know that that's something that really bothers conservative African Americans in the country who usually vote for a more conservative candidate as opposed to the Democrat. And I've seen like a lot of comments toward them you don't do this, but I've seen a lot of comments from people that are kind of degrading toward black voters who happen to be conservative,
Well, it depends on the situation. So, look, the stuff he said after we got past the racism is legit critique of Biden, legit critique of the system. And I bet you if that guy watched the show for a while, he would begin to realize, oh no, these guys are anti-establishment. And so I misunderstood them. And we might still massively disagree on things, and we certainly would, right? But a lot of right-wingers and independents that watch us go, oh, people have been lying about these folks. These guys are like, tons of people on the right assume like, oh, we just blindly support the Democratic Party. That means you've never watched a minute of the Young Turks, right? So in terms of, he said Cenk thinks he's superior. Why? What does that mean? Like, so the idea, like, there's an irony in what he's saying. You have to be pro my policies in order to be pro-American. And Cenk doesn't understand that my policies are superior. Well, brother, you're doing projection. You're doing the thing that you say that I'm doing. When in reality, there is no show on the left that takes what MAGA is saying more seriously than we do. And we get a lot of heat for that, right?
Oh yeah.
To like, how dare you treat them as human beings and listen to what they're saying and see if they make any sense at all. So if you're new to us, Democrat, and you're starting to worry, wait, are they pro-MAGA? No, guys. You can actually listen to people who are who's on the other side politically and go, hey, I wonder what makes them tick.
Right,
I wonder what drives them. Why are they so angry? So the rest of the media and the Democratic Party says, no, don't do that, don't do that. Just shut off your mind and call them all racist, etc. So again, another piece of irony, he's calling me racist, even though they hate the idea of calling other people racist, right? That are MAGA. So we're not in favor of shutting off your mind. There's massive actual issues for average Americans, their income, their standard of living. 40% of the country can't afford a $400 hit to their bottom line. Just $400, and it bankrupts them. That's a giant percentage of the country. So we think that the politicians are corrupt. There's a lot that the populist left and the populist right agree on, especially economic issues. Now, if you watch mainstream media, they're like, don't agree with MAGA on anything, otherwise you're racist, sexist.
Yeah, that's what dude. It's so funny how Cenk is trying to say that the Young Turks are not what this guy says he is, and in terms of they're just woke propaganda, basically. Other than Ana Kasparian, she's the only one, and there's a reason why the entirety of the Young Turks fan base is calling for Ana Kasparian to be fired on a daily basis, because she doesn't agree with the woke propaganda that is being spread throughout the Young Turks and all the woke shows out there, The View, Bill Maher, all of them. And whenever Ana Kasparian says something basically every day that doesn't go along with that, they lose their minds. Why do you think that is? It's because they've been agreeing and playing into this propaganda, existing in this echo chamber of wokeness for so long that now when Ana Kasparian even speaks a little bit of common sense, they lose their shit. They lose their minds. There's a reason for that. It's not because the Young Turks has always been this super fair and balanced organization that has never really taken a side in politics. It's like, dude, what is Cenk even talking about? Of course you're trying to push propaganda. Of course you're trying to get a certain side to win this next election and every election. Of course you are. Why are you trying to act like you've always been this super fair and unbiased organization? That's never been the case. The only person who was on track to be that is Ana Kasparian, but even she is still voting Democrats, still pushing for Democrats to win the next election and all elections across the U.S. So I just I don't even get where that's coming from. I don't get how he's even taking the high road here.
Misogynist, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, we're not sellouts who are like, oh yeah, now we think Republicans and MAGA are awesome. And we think Donald Trump should steal and lie and rob us instead of the corporate Democrats. No, brother. Trump has totally hoodwinked you. He's just as corrupt, if not more corrupt than the Democrats.
Yeah, and look, I personally am at a point in my life where there are some good points made by voters on both sides. And we shouldn't dehumanize or devalue someone who doesn't agree with us or isn't part of our political group or part of our political ideology. We should hear them out if they have important and substantial, substantive things to say. And I think that gentleman, despite what he had to say about you, the heart of his message about the economic anxieties is an important message. And I think it resonates with voters across the political spectrum. And so, look, Michael Shore interviews a lot of different people who attend these MAGA rallies. Some of them, unfortunately, say things that sound unhinged. And to be quite frank, I'm kind of sick of seeing those videos because I don't think that that's representative of everyone in the MAGA movement. And to Michael Shore's credit, he also interviews people who have really interesting things to say.
No, we do a great job with him. And so
that was a perfect example.
No, and I'll tell you something, okay? The world is not binary. It is not black and white. So we show you the MAGA guys who are totally nuts, and I don't mind saying it. My job is to be honest with you guys. We've interviewed, at this point, maybe hundreds of MAGA guys who are on a different planet. They want to murder, some of them want to murder Joe Biden, some of them say, Jesus should rule the country and Trump is Jesus. They say the most lunatic things you've ever imagined, okay? At the same time, we interview MAGA guys who actually are heartbroken over what's happened in this country, and they're not racist or sexist, and they're not crazy, and they're just sick of the corruption.
The problem is there's nobody like that on the left, though. Like, I wish I could say that I really do. I genuinely wish I could say that there are people like that on the left who are not racist, not sexist, don't hate white people, don't hate Christians, and they just want the best for the country. But I think if you genuinely were that, you wouldn't be a left winger. Maybe I'm brainwashed. I don't know. Maybe I'm the brainwashed one. I genuinely wish I could sit back and say, I actually think there are good people on the left who don't hate straight white Christians. I do think that. I don't think that that's the case. I don't think those people exist. I think everybody who is voting for Kamala Harris likes to kill babies. I'm just like being straight up honest with you. Like, that's why everybody's saying that they're voting for Kamala. And also, you hate straight white men, you hate Christians. I think that's the case. Maybe I get proven wrong by somebody in the comments, but that's just genuinely how I feel about it. I wish I could say the opposite. Let me know in the comments, though, what you think about these MAGA supporters really triggering Cenk Uygur. Ana Kasparian is kind of laughing about it, but Cenk is not laughing about it at all. In fact, he lied about a million times in this video. It's funny how they say that about Donald Trump every time he speaks, then Cenk Uygur speaks, and the same happens. Let me know in the comments, though, what do you think about this whole Young Turks versus MAGA supporters situation?